Well, many of us have grown up using the word he to refer to males and she to refer to females. But what if you relate to both genders or neither? Well, you may have heard the term non-binary lately. Here to share with us what it means and how it's breaking the identity mold is Dr. Karyn Gordon, and please welcome Dotto, who's here to share their own personal story. Welcome. I'm so happy we're talking about this, and Derek, I'm so happy you're joining us because, you know, you're in this position where you're sort of, you've become this example of what's happening right now with gender-neutral language, and I feel like it's a good opportunity to educate people who don't understand or don't understand the evolution. So I want to talk first with your story, starting with when you decided to explore gender-neutral pronouns for yourself.
So I think gender-neutral pronouns only really kind of came within my sphere a couple of years ago. And it's kind of been since then that I was thinking about it just based on my own personal journey. Obviously, growing up, I felt I was very different. Things just didn't fit. Puberty, that changes and takes on even deeper layers. And then, you know, I finally come to terms with it, come out as a gay man, but even that never really fit. And I just maybe thought that was me. And then hearing about non-binary, genderqueer, and people who are gender non-conforming, that was definitely much more of a fit for me because, you know, I think that for a lot of people, gender is, you know, just a set of expectations based on your reproductive organs. And those expectations just don't work for me anymore. They never did, and as a matter of fact. They were very damaging to me in my life in a lot of ways.
So how would you like for us to address you?
So my pronouns are they and them. So if you're saying Derek is coming over for dinner, they are bringing a friend. Something like that. I don't love being called man and dude and bro, but those are just on me. But again, it's, you know, recognizing that people are people and they fall into habits. So just like I'll be misgendered multiple times a day being called he and him, people will also call me man or bro at the end of a sentence or statement just because that's how they are. And often, I'm sure you've been called man as well.
Well, I even call women, I say that to, hey man, what's up? Or I'll say, hey guys, how many times have I called you guys? So where are the parameters for, like, is that okay, or is that offensive, or does that depend on who you're speaking with?
It totally depends on the individual. Some people will correct everyone at every turn. I personally, it's all situational. You know, I don't feel comfortable correcting someone in front of, you know, a group of work colleagues or at a social function or whatever. Or maybe I will if it's a group of closer friends. So again, yeah, it's all kind of situational. Sometimes it's a follow-up after the fact, a conversation, a text, an email, whatever. That's a little more one-on-one and respectful for their side of it, because I'm also asking something of people, and that is to kind of rewire their speech patterns, something that they've been raised with.
Which I think is acceptable. You know, I've heard people say, well, it's hard, I can't get it, it's hard to wrap your mind around it. It's like, yeah, I think it was hard for people to understand that there was going to be inclusivity when it came to women. I think it was hard for people to understand there was going to be inclusivity when it came to races. I think it's all difficult to change and evolve, but you still got to do it. You know, we all have to feel like we belong in society. So it's a fair ask for you to be asking people to understand the language that needs to be used. So Karyn, I'm going to get you to jump in now, because we want to talk about accepting and being inclusive, and you've got some tips for how we can all jump in.
So first of all, I just want to say thank you to Derek,
Yes.
Say thank you to Derek. Honestly.
Yes.
Like when I was asked to do this segment, I said, we need somebody on this panel, and they said you were going to join. I'm like, Derek's one of my favorite people, so this is like amazing.
Thank
because
you.
we are on a learning journey, right?
Yes.
We're all in it. I'm in it, you're in it, and so I think the more that we can kind of work with each other, I think is really important. So this will be a new topic for a lot of people. People will be like, what are we talking about? I don't even know. So I want to try to really help us all kind of get on the same page, okay? So just to kind of hear a little bit of history, which I think is pretty fascinating. In 2014, University of Vermont was the first university to basically allow students to choose their pronouns on their applications.
Okay.
And then that data was actually taken and given to university professors, so the professors knew how to address people.
Yes.
Harvard then kind of followed up the next year with basically doing the same thing. And so universities, what's interesting is universities was the group that really kind of took this and started running with it.
I'm not surprised, though, because think about the vibe on a university campus.
Right.
It's all about exploration and being inclusive
and pushing the limits,
and pushing the limits,
researching. Yes. Now, what's interesting? So universities, yes, K to 12 schools have a long way to go.
Oh, definitely.
So we're all kind of in this together. But one of the first things I want us to really think about in trying to understand, I think my greatest hope from today is that we try to understand where everybody is kind of coming from, is to really understand the evolution of language. So when you think of there's certain words like hangry.
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 We
right?
all understand that.
We all understand hangry now. Manspreading. Yes, manspreading. Words like this. That's now in the Oxford English Dictionary.
Oh,
it just shows that as humans, we are evolving, and as we evolve, we actually start changing our language. So I think that's really important versus thinking of things kind of really kind of in these kind of boxes.
Okay.
Okay, I think it's really important for us to understand the evolution.
The second thing you say is know the language.
Know the
please
language.
Acquaint yourself with things like they.
Yes.
And their. And understanding what that means and who you should be addressing.
And Z.
In that way.
Okay, Z is the other one. All right, so again, I want to educate. Okay, and this is education for me too.
Yes.
All right, so some of us will identify with female.
Yes.
Right? She, her, hers. Some will identify with male, he, him, himself. Some will identify with gender neutral, as we talked about. So them, they, their.
Yes.
And but the other pronoun that's well, it started, but Derek and I were talking that it hasn't really caught on, but I would like it to catch on, is Z.
Yes.
Okay, Z. So Z is speaking. I was listening to Zir. The coat is Zir's.
And where does that?
It's
what's the
gender
genesis
neutral.
of that?
Well, I think what happened was, and Derek and I were talking, I think it was almost started by, my thinking is universities, they tried it, we have to create another word.
It was creating another word.
Because they is confusing because we think of it as plural.
Yes.
So it's almost like Z was started, but it hasn't caught.
Okay.
Correct?
Yeah.
It hasn't really caught.
I definitely considered Z for myself when I was thinking gender neutral pronouns, but I'm just not enough of an early adopter for it.
But you're not against it.
I'm not against it
I
at all.
personally like it.
I just think, for me personally, when I thought about how I'm going to have to educate people, I thought it would be a little easier to educate them on vocabulary or words that are already in in what they say,
what they're using, versus I'm going to teach you a whole new word.
A whole new concept.
That's a lot of pressure on you, Derek. Oh my goodness, it's a lot. It's a lot to take on. So I get that. Is the they there coming from a place of two-spirit, binary, both genders? Is that why it's a they, a their? I'm just trying to understand why why you would pick those words or why that's been chosen.
It's possible, I think, for some, but grammatically, when we talk about people and, say I'm having a dinner party, you invite Karyn and she's bringing a friend and you tell me, okay, Karyn's bringing a friend, are they allergic to mushrooms? Because you haven't told me yet if this is a man or a woman or how they identify.
That is
true. So we do use they and them, not just plurally. It's just a matter of kind of reminding people of that.
Right, and using it a little bit differently. I'm going to leave on your last tip, and that's just choose to be respectful and inclusive. You can have all the question marks in the world, and you can ask all the questions in the world, but the fact of the matter is people are coming from a different place when it comes to identity. We all are, and it's our responsibility to get in there and figure out how we're all going to live in this world together. So thank you for sharing that story, Derek. That was great.